Well, after yet another impressive shorthanded win by the Lakers, playing without LeBron, Austin Reeves, Gabe Vincent and Maxi Kleber, basically over half their payroll, they still found a way to get it done. And sure, Luka Doncic wasn't at his most efficient last night, but he was still great as usual. At this point, though, we've got to give a lot of credit to their role players. Their supporting cast has been incredible. Whether Luka's out, Austin's out, or even when all three of Luka, LeBron, and Austin are playing together, this group keeps finding ways not just to stay competitive but to win games. And you've got to highlight the impact of their new additions, Deandre, Marcus Smart, and Jake LaRavia. All three have been outstanding. It's rare for new guys to come in and make this kind of immediate impact. Offense, defense, rebounding, even leadership, they've checked every box. Some of the value they bring doesn't even show up in the box score. Marcus Smart and Deandre in particular have been huge, while Jake LaRavia continues to prove why he's been such a bright spot over the past week. So this time, it's more of a spotlight on Ayton and Smart. They've been great not only last night, but really all season so far. In fact, they've given the Lakers exactly what they needed from both of them. With Deandre, he came in to be their defensive anchor, a lob threat with Luka, a pick-and-roll partner for Luka, LeBron, and Austin, a strong rebounder, and someone to create more second-chance points. And he's literally done all of that to a T. Up to this point, Ayton's averaging over 17 points per game, the third highest mark of his career, 17.5 per game. On top of that, he's averaging 1.3 blocks per game, which would be the second best of his career, and shooting a career-high 65.7% from the field. That's something we talked about all summer, and honestly, it was easy to predict. The kind of high-quality looks he's getting playing alongside Luka, and even without him, whether it's with Austin Reeves or just creating for himself, his mid-range shot has been pure, his floater is smooth, and the easy lobs he finishes at the rim are automatic. Even running in transition, he's finding ways to score efficiently. And apart from that, while the rebounding hasn't been elite, his effort and activity have still been there every night. From a numbers standpoint, he's averaging 8.4 rebounds per game, but I think that stat is a bit misleading. When you're playing alongside guys like Luka, Austin, and even Jared Vanderbilt, who are all strong defensive rebounders, you're naturally going to lose a few boards to them. We've seen that happen plenty of times, and I'm not holding it against him at all. 8.4 rebounds per game is still solid. It just looks a little deceptive because of who he's sharing the floor with. He's often the one boxing out the opponent's big man, creating space for Luka, Austin, or Vanderbilt to grab those defensive rebounds. That kind of effort doesn't always show up in the box score. But if you look at his offensive rebounding numbers, they tell a different story. He's pulling down around 3 per game, right in line with his career average of 3.1, which is very good. That's been huge for the Lakers, giving them extra possessions and keeping plays alive. So honestly, there's nothing to worry about when it comes to Deandre's rebounding. If anything, he's been exactly what they hoped for, doing the dirty work, controlling the paint, and being the physical presence this team needed. Simply looking at the basic stats and overall picture, things already look great for Deandre. But when you dig a little deeper, especially into his two-man game with Luka or Austin Reeves, it's been absolutely terrific. Through 8 games, Deandre ranks 4th in the entire NBA in points per game as a pick-and-roll scorer, only behind Domantas Sabonis, Joel Embiid, and tied with Alex Sarr. So technically, he's tied for 3rd. He's averaging 4.5 points per game out of the pick-and-roll while shooting 55% on those plays, which is elite efficiency. He's been working seamlessly with Luka, Austin, and really anyone who runs that action with him. And what's impressive is that it's not just about finishing at the rim. A lot of his production has also come from that mid-range area. I've mentioned this before, his touch from that in-between zone is something special. It's a bit of a lost art in today's NBA, especially for big men, but Deandre has brought it back. Whether it's that smooth jumper or the soft floater, he's showing a complete offensive game that fits perfectly next to the Lakers stars. He's been a terrific mid-range shooter for them, and that's directly reflected in the Lakers' team stats. Right now, the Lakers are the best mid-range shooting team in the entire NBA. From 5 to 9 feet, they're shooting a ridiculous 67% from the field, nearly 9% higher than the team in second place, the Utah Jazz. Now, they're not taking a huge number of shots from that area, roughly 4 attempts per game, but when they do, they've been incredibly efficient. They've gone to that shot with Deandre, Luka Doncic, Jake LaRavia, and of course Austin Reeves, and all have delivered. Even stepping a bit further out, from 10 to 14 feet, the Lakers are still the most efficient team in the league, shooting 57.8% from that range on about 5 attempts per game. And again, a lot of that production has come from Deandre Ayton. That's not something you typically see from a big man, but Ayton has brought that value consistently. Specifically for Deandre, from that 5 to 9 foot range, he's shooting 70% from the field, taking the most shots from that area on the entire roster, about 2.9 attempts per game. Then from 10 to 14 feet away, he's taking around 2 attempts per game and knocking them down at an impressive clip as well. His consistency from those mid-range spots has been a massive weapon for the Lakers' offense and a big part of why their spacing and efficiency have taken such a leap this season. He's taking about 3 shots per game from that 10 to 14 foot range, hitting them at a 55.6% clip. Absolutely terrific for a big man. So again, when you look at the two-man game between Luka Doncic and Deandre Ayton, or between Ayton and Austin Reeves, it's been fantastic. Even that mid-range and in-between game from Ayton is something not many teams have in today's NBA. But beyond the numbers, when you actually watch the games, the eye test backs it all up. Whether you look at the season as a whole or focus on last night's performance, it's clear as day. Take that play in the fourth quarter between Luka and Ayton after they nearly fouled out Victor Wembanyama, who was sitting on the bench with 5 fouls. They immediately took advantage of that mismatch. Here's Ayton. His screening has improved massively. He's setting strong, patient screens, giving Luka the perfect angle to attack before diving straight to the rim. That's a huge development in his game. There was a time when Ayton struggled to set solid screens, often slipping too early, but now he's doing it with precision and timing, and it's making a major difference for their offense. Even apart from that, there were times when he wouldn't wait to dive to the rim, often getting ahead of the ball handler, and that's not something you want to see. It clogs up the middle, takes away the driving lane, and prevents the ball handler from setting up the opposing big for a potential lob. But this season, Ayton's shown massive improvement in that area, and you can see it clearly on this play. He waits for Luka Doncic to draw in the drop coverage, forcing Jeremy Sochan to commit, which opens up a perfect lane for Ayton to dive to the rim. Luka threads a bounce pass right on target. Ayton catches it about 5 feet from the rim, and finishes it smoothly with a little floater. Something he's been doing a lot throughout the early part of the season. And honestly, I could pull clip after clip showing how effective that connection has been, whether it's Ayton with Luka or Ayton with Reeves. It's clicked much faster than anyone expected. But even beyond the offense, the pick-and-roll chemistry, and the mid-range touch, what stood out even more is Ayton's defense. That's been the biggest surprise. For years, the criticism around him was that he didn't play with enough defensive effort or consistency. And yes, at times that's been true. But this season, it feels like something's changed. True, that's been a fair criticism of him in the past, but that hasn't been the case at all to start this season. Whether you're talking about rim protection, where he's averaging 1.3 blocks per game, or more importantly, his actual defensive commitment and consistency, I've been really impressed. You can see the difference not just in the numbers, but in the effort and positioning. Looking at last night's fourth quarter, Ayton really stepped up on that end. Whether Wembanyama was on the floor or sitting out, Ayton anchored the defense and protected the rim beautifully. On one play, for example, Jake LaRavia got picked by Jeremy Sochan, forcing Ayton to switch and pick up Stephon Castle. Instead of dropping too deep in coverage, Ayton stepped up just enough to take away the mid-range look. Castle tried to attack him off the dribble, thinking he had a lane, but Ayton recovered perfectly, meeting him at the rim and swatting his shot hard off the backboard. That block likely saved 2 points in what was a tight back-and-forth game, a 6-point contest at that moment that ended up being decided by just 1 point. Then, on the very next defensive possession, Ayton did it again. Another strong defensive stand, staying disciplined against the ball handler, contesting without fouling, and making his presence felt when it mattered most. Plays like that are exactly why this version of Deandre Ayton feels different. He's not just active, he's engaged, focused, and impacting winning on both ends of the floor. This time it was Julian Champagny getting the ball, trying to attack what he thought was a mismatch, driving at Ayton, but he couldn't get past him. Ayton moved his feet well, recovered perfectly on this play and the previous one, and when Champagny tried to shoot over him at the rim, Ayton emphatically blocked it, saving a couple of points for the Lakers. Again, this isn't just about offense. Deandre Ayton's defense has been a major plus this season, something that was in question coming in. Many fans doubted it, but he's been a very pleasant surprise. Whether it's blocking shots at the rim, which his 1.3 blocks per game reflect, or simply playing disciplined defense, like the very next possession against Victor Wembanyama, where he held his ground and forced a miss over the top, Ayton has provided solid rim protection. Overall, I've been very impressed with Deandre. No, it hasn't been perfect. There have been some rough moments. But for the large majority of the season so far, he's been great for the Lakers, offensively, defensively, on the boards, and in his overall commitment. For me, that makes it a strong start to the season for Ayton and a huge boost to the team. This time, it was Julian Champagny getting the ball, trying to attack what he thought was a mismatch, driving at Ayton, but he couldn't get past him. Ayton moved his feet well, recovered perfectly on this play and the previous one, and when Champagny tried to shoot over him at the rim, Ayton emphatically blocked it, saving a couple of points for the Lakers. Again, this isn't just about offense. Deandre Ayton's defense has been a major plus this season, something that was in question coming in. Many fans doubted it, but he's been a very pleasant surprise. Whether it's blocking shots at the rim, which his 1.3 blocks per game reflect, or simply playing disciplined defense, like the very next possession against Victor Wembanyama, where he held his ground and forced a miss over the top, Ayton has provided solid rim protection. Overall, I've been very impressed with Deandre. No, it hasn't been perfect. There have been some rough moments. But for the large majority of the season so far, he's been great for the Lakers, offensively, defensively, on the boards, and in his overall commitment. For me, that makes it a strong start to the season for Ayton and a huge boost to the team. Opponent-wise, their defense might not be elite overall, but compared to previous seasons and how they've gotten back on defense, it's a monumental improvement. A lot of that credit goes to Marcus Smart. I'm not saying the team couldn't do it without him, but the commitment to actually getting back, staying disciplined, and keeping the defense set would not be nearly as consistent without him. From the role players and defensive-minded guys all the way up to Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves, who historically haven't always been the best at this, they're finally committing to it, and in large part, that's thanks to Smart. On top of that, his defensive playmaking has been huge. He's averaging nearly 2 steals per game in 28 minutes per game, which is very strong. Last season, the Lakers didn't really have a guard who could serve as a true defensive playmaker at that level. Smart combines excellent one-on-one defense with the ability to create turnovers and generate transition opportunities, which has been invaluable for the team and their overall defensive identity. Overall, if you ask me about the Lakers at 7-2, they wouldn't be in that position without Marcus Smart or Deandre Ayton. The way they've quickly made an impact and changed the entire dynamic of this team, both offensively and defensively, has been really impressive to watch. They've provided exactly what the Lakers needed from them. So with all that said, what do you guys think? How have you felt about Deandre and Marcus Smart so far? What's impressed you the most about them? What has maybe proven you wrong? And how do you see them fitting with the team going forward? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. That'll pretty much do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. As always, thank you for watching, and have a great day or night.